they got me, man. They had a news out. They had some news out there, man, and I forgot to check the date on it. And I'm not going to put a video out that has information out there that would lead people to believe something, that's coming out of the woodworks, and it's not. Never want to give fake news. So we're going to start the live over again. We're going to redo this. The information is still the same. You know what I mean? I'm just going to talk about it in a different context here. But I will start with this and say, kind of go over a couple of things here real quick that I said before that, the Bay Area in California has already put mandates in place for chin diapers and face diapers at medical facilities in several counties in the Bay Area. Okay. All right. That is a thing. And they're also in place until March, which I find interesting because March is when they locked us down the first time. All right. So it's like, they know something's coming. You know what I mean? Now, what's interesting is like I was showing you in the SPARS pandemic scenario, that's 2025 to 2028. And we're, like I said, we're just days away, less than 2 weeks away from 2025 being here. All right. And if we go through this real quick, let me get here. Talks about a scenario where Christians, specifically Baptists, who are usually anti this, that want nothing to do with that, all right, go abroad and do some witnessing and some missionary work, and they come back and they bring back to St. Paul an acute respiratory syndrome, hence SPARS, St. Paul acute respiratory syndrome. And in this scenario, the CDC's, putting up, mock social media posts, talking about the holiday travel, you know what I mean? And they even at the last post down here, at the fourth one down here, they bring up Thanksgiving and Black Friday, you know what I mean? And then in their document, it states this: as transmission of SPARS was determined to occur via droplet spread, the CDC initially recommended that everyone diligently maintain hand hygiene and frequently disinfect potentially contaminated surfaces. CDC officials further urged anyone with severe flu-like symptoms to seek immediate medical attention. Public health officials were concerned that the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday and Black Friday shopping activities would facilitate the spread of SPARS, but they remained confident. So they knew during the Thanksgiving holiday and Black Friday shopping activities would facilitate the spread of SPARS. So they knew something was coming and they did nothing about it. They believed and remained confident that the awareness and prevention messages disseminated annually for the seasonal flu. So they have thought, well, we already have all this flu stuff in place and whatnot, warning people, cover your cough and wash your hands and use common sense. That should take care of it. But instead, they don't tell the public the reality of what's happening during the Thanksgiving and Black Friday season, okay? And then they allow this to take place, and they end up with a problem. So I feel like that's kind of where we're at with things. You know what I mean? I feel like, if you go through this whole entire scenario, and I'll click through it real quick. So if you need to pause and read it, you're more than welcome to. But basically, the whole entire scenario talks about the spread of this thing, and then how they're going to control the internet, and how they're going to keep their thumb over people and censor social media in order to keep things from getting out, to the public. They don't want anything getting out to the public. I did go through this entire document, so that's basically a rough gist of what it talks about. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's nonetheless, this document is quite lengthy. They have a lot in store for the world, just like they did before, all their fact checking and all this different stuff, and trying to stay ahead of viral videos and things like that pertain to this. They don't want in this, it talks about those things not working and causing side effects and blah 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 and whatnot, and they have to combat this. And so I mean, you kind of get the gist of it, you know what I mean? So anyways, it wasn't long ago that they had the bird flu summit, all right, the International Bird Flu Summit in America. And before we go over this, all right, I want to read these reports to you, okay? It says right here, a person in Louisiana, this is from NBC News, has been hospitalized with bird flu. All right. And I want you to keep in your mind what we've been talking about the pneumonia that's been taking place. Okay. And then also what we saw come out of the Congo. Okay. All right. I think we are finally seeing possible human to human transmission here. They're not going to tell us even if it is. But I think it's possible. Okay, I do think it's possible, and I'm not trying to be a fear monger. Every time I come out with any information about this, I'm called a fear monger. But that's okay if that's how you deal with fear, to attack people and call names and things like that. But I'm just trying to keep people aware. And try to warn people of what could possibly be going on. But it says right here, like I said, a person in Louisiana has been hospitalized with the bird flu, the country's first severe human H5N1 infection. Now, that's the key words here. The first severe human H5N1 infection, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. The patient is experiencing severe respiratory illness, right there, related to H5N1 infection, and is currently hospitalized in critical condition, said Emma Herrock, a spokeswoman for the Louisiana Health Department. Now, I will tell you this, okay, is that a buddy that I know that has work where he comes into contact with lots of different walks of life. All right, and he ended up working for this one woman who is an overseer of several hospitals in our area. And she said the hospitals are full. She said they're packed. She said the ER is overwhelmed and completely at capacity, all right, for all this stuff. Me and my wife know people personally that have been sick, that have had to go to the hospital, that have had to go to urgent care, multiple people, all right, new cases, okay. I've been asked by my wife not to say anything specific here, and because we don't want information getting back to people and them thinking that we're talking about them. Which, out of respect, we're going to do that. But the thing is, okay, is that this stuff's exploding. It's everywhere. I got a call from my friend. All right, literally, he's in Louisiana. Probably about a week ago, I'd say, little more than a week ago. All right. Anyways, he said, dude, Louisiana is like the number one place right now for this pneumonia that's going around. And it's interesting that, all of a sudden, and this is after he told me this, that Louisiana has the first severe human H5N1 infection. Now, I think there's a lot of people that might have this, and it's up to everybody's opinion whether this could be technology spread, involved. There's some kind of involvement with. We'll talk the cell phone seeders, that Bob Barber talked about. I like how he put that. It's a good way to say it. All right, the tall things, that have the things on them that broadcast things. A lot of people think it could have, and I can't have anybody putting in the comment section remedies and stuff. You got to be careful. So if my moderators, which I have none. Oh, okay, I do have Mrs. End Times Talk. Thank you, sister. Hold on. Yeah, we just if Dr. K, and all due respect, I just have to. Okay, yep. No, I see you got my gist there. Yeah, they'll strike my channel. So I got to be careful of that. But on my Rumble and on my Twitter X, if you feel that you have a remedy, go over to my Rumble, go over to my Twitter X, and post in the comment section there. You're more than welcome to any remedy that you think might be a good thing. Anyways, so uh, I was told by my buddy that this was exploding in Louisiana. And all of a sudden, we have this severe case in Louisiana. I find that interesting. He told me way ahead of time, like a week ahead of time, that hey, it's rough down here in Louisiana. And what's interesting is that it's not a cold area. It's not a cold area. Now, there were several videos and all that stuff right before I came on that I was looking at where, people are talking about that these drones are spraying stuff. This could be a factor, absolutely could be, but I want to let people know even before all this drone nonsense was taking place, all right, this pneumonia was working its way around, okay? All the way back to June, okay, in 2024, all right, this stuff was taking place. And then right around October, it started to really pick up pace. They stopped reporting the numbers. They don't want to report the numbers. And here we are. They haven't reported the numbers for November. That tells you everything you need to know. I have news clips. Well, I had them set up, but I don't have them on here anymore because I can only have so many videos loaded up in StreamYard. But there's videos that were talking about a quadrupling of data from between 2023 till now. That the cases are just exploding, like 4 times the numbers of what it was last year during October into October this year. And now they won't even mention the November numbers because they stopped reporting the November numbers. Okay. And so people, I'm telling you, that's a pretty key sign that something's going on. And like I said, it was like California already had something in place ready to put this mask mandate stuff back into place, with several different counties in the Bay Area. There was also, I think it was Houston, or was it Dallas, Fort Worth? I forgot. But there was a hospital in Texas that had a mask mandate back in place where you couldn't enter. You know what I'm saying? So, people, I'll tell you, I was a person during the first pandemic that I was trying to warn people of what was to come. And everybody called me a fear monger, and everybody said I was a liar and a disinformationalist. This was before I had my channel. I was going into Facebook groups and trying to warn people of what's to come. Because I care. Because I want people to know what's going on. You know what I mean? Hey, Bubba News. Hello, Sister Angiana. It's good to see you. Good to see you, Angiana and Bubba News Wars and everybody else here. Anyways, so there were people that were, like I said, they were grabbing their pitchforks and lighting their torches, man, to chase me out of town. You can ask my wife. They wanted nothing to do with what I had to say. And then like 2 weeks later, boom, there it was. You know what I mean? And then just a little, they had a pandemic in place. And then just a little bit after that, they had, the lockdown take place in March. You know what I mean? Hold on, I gotta grab something here. Anyways, I've shown people on this channel before, and I think it's important to bring this up when I talk about this because I want people to be aware of the agenda. That there is an agenda there. Hold on one second. I showed people before. In the Illuminati card game, there was a epidemic card, okay? All right, and in that you see the word quarantine, okay? And then you got the chin diaper on the ground with the gloves. And then right here you got the bottle of disinfectant, right? You got the RX. We'll call it the RX, but it starts with an I, but please don't put it in the comment section. And then you got the syringe, the Red Cross, and then there's all the body bags. Remember the piles of body bags that we saw in the the hospitals, lining the hallways. They had trailers that had the refrigeration capabilities where they were keeping people in body bags, trying to store them until they could get them to the morgue to cremate them or whatever. People, like I said, right on that card, I'll show it one last time. Right on that card, they told you everything that it was going to be. They told you everything that it was going to be right there. And it says quarantine. And that's what they did to us for 2 years. For 2 years, they did that to us. Okay. And what's interesting, all right, hold on one second, is that they came out with this card, and this was a different set that they came out with a while after that. All right. And then they came out with the bird flu card. Hold on one second. Trying to get it to focus here. And in the same, it has the quarantine, it has the chin diaper, has the Red Cross, has the syringe, has the disinfectant, it has the RX that I think represents the eye, the stuff that people took with that started with I that helped them. All right, and then you got the rooster in there, and then look at the cells in the background. You got all these cells in the background. You see what I'm saying? All right. So I don't know if they plan a second quarantine, but it looks to me like they do. And the Lord showed me a series of dreams. One was 7 years ago. I'll talk about it because I think it's an important part to bring up. All right. And you can ask Mrs. End Times Talk. I don't know if she's still in the live chat or not, that I told her this about 7 years before anything ever took place. All right. I had a dream where in my local city where I live now, I did not live in this city when I had the dream. That's key number one. I did not live in the city that I live in now during when I had this dream. But then during the pandemic, I lived in this city. So it's interesting that it took place in the city that I live in now, because that's where I was during the pandemic. All right. Now, what's interesting is, in the dream, there was a strip mall where there was a Chinese restaurant. Okay. Which I think it's funny that, the China being origins of things, all right, had been converted into a medical facility. It was like the whole entire building was like surgical steel. You know what I mean? And they had slabs that were surgical steel, that like as if you were in the morgue, that you would put a body on. All right. And there was all these people that, had the medical blanket over them, the white blanket, and they had all of this phlegm and stuff coming out of them. All right. And it was like they were suffocating in their own phlegm. I'm sorry to be graphic, but that's exactly what was taking place. All right. In the dream, I got sick, which I really did get sick during the pandemic. It was really bad. I thought I was going to die. All right. But I ended up getting sick. Okay. And they took me into this medical facility. I had gotten better. I sat up, and that's how I knew I felt like that was a promise from God that he gave me in my dream, that I was going to get better in real life when I did catch the 19 stuff. All right. And I kept proclaiming that over myself. I saw in that dream I was going to get better. I saw that I'm not going to die. I saw in that dream I was going to get better. And in that dream, I got better. I sat up. I escaped from the medical facility, and I started running home, which, interestingly enough, all right, the area where I live now, I was running towards that area. You know what I mean? I did not live there at the time of having this dream. So I was really confused when I had this dream. Like, why am I seeing that place in my dream? Like, I don't even live there. You know what I mean? And it's crazy how God showed me something preemptively. Now, I am not a prophet or anything like that, but I'm telling you, I had a prophetic dream, and I think many people have prophetic dreams. And if you pay attention, when you feel that feeling, you know what I mean? Okay. Mrs. End Times Talk, could you confirm to everybody, since you're in the live chat, about, when I told you this dream, if you would maybe give them some details, about when I told you about this dream. I stirred and I woke up and I'm like, baby, I had a dream. Like, I know when something's from the Lord. First off, there's I'll tell you how. There's like an energy you feel around you, like your body's like electrified. I just felt this intensity, right? I felt this urgency to remember. What the dream was, and to make a note of it. And usually how I make a note of it is I tell my wife. Once I tell my wife, I kind of remember what I said. I remember what's in the dream, and then it kind of seals in my memory. And then I felt like I could remember every single detail of it. You know what I mean? Like, there's just all these key factors. It was a really strange dream. Yes, didn't make sense in the moment, but as soon as the pandemic hit, and I'm like, babe, I'm like, you remember that dream that I had? You know what I mean? And then it all kind of started to click into place. You know what I mean? And then so about, I would say 4 or 5 years ago, I had this Jade dream that I talk about so often on my channel. All right. And so I can get into that if people want me to. But Mrs. End Times Talk says that she says, well, you woke me up and you were stirred, not scared like a bad dream, but like you had to remember so many years ago. And that, yeah, I mean, this, if we had to total it up, it would be like, man, like 12 years ago, I had that dream. Like 12 years ago at this point in time, maybe 13 years ago, I had that dream. But yeah, I mean, my wife says, "Oh, so fancy, babe." I was able to put her comment up on the screen. Whoops, we didn't mean that. Well, we're getting confused here. Yeah, right here. That's what I guess I wasn't confused. That's what Perry Stone does when he has a prophetic dream. He has a book and goes into detail when he records them. I'll be honest with you. I have had dreams where I see all the happy anniversaries and the happy birthdays. Thank you so much. It means so much to me and my wife. You know, I was like, man, I feel like I'm supposed to go live, and she's like, just do it. You know what I mean? So you know what? There's no rest for the watchman. You know what I mean? There's no rest for the watchman. We get on the wall and we start sounding the alarm when we see danger approaching. You know, if we don't want God's people to be taken off guard. You know what I mean? This isn't about fear mongering. This isn't about trying to scare you. This isn't about likes. This isn't about shares, which I hope you do share this video. I think it's important, but it is about to warn God's people, for them to be in prayer, to be leaning into Jesus more. You know what I mean? When God's people sense danger coming, we need to get and tap into his presence, man, and be in the word of God. You know what I mean? Bubba News says so many have come to Christ and so many have come back to Jesus. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, anyways, so I'm going to get back to this article I was reading. So the CDC said the patient was likely exposed to the virus, and so they don't know yet, but that likely that it was that they were exposed to the virus from a backyard flock. So now they're going to try to go after the backyard chickens, right? That's where I see this going. I know a little old chicken farmer down in Texas named Steven. He's a good guy. He's one of my good friends. God bless him. And you know, brother, be ready, man. But anyways, they're saying which would mark the first time such a flock has been associated with a bird flu infection in a U.S. resident. While an investigation into the source of this infection in Louisiana is ongoing, so they don't know, so they're already making assumptions, is what that said. We don't know. We're investigating it, but you know, we're going to tell you what we think it is, you know, to get that out there. Right. It is believed that the patient that was reported by Louisiana had exposure to sick or dead birds on their property. There's the key words, trying to go after the homesteader, right? And then it's kind of interesting. And in just 2 days, they're coming out with that movie that I want to go see with my wife called Homestead, that Angel Studios is coming out with. It looks pretty good. I hope it's as good as it looks. I do suggest everybody go check that out at the movie theaters. Homestead, do that. That looks like an apocalyptic movie, man, I'll tell you. Anyways, so the case was reported as a presumptive positive by Louisiana on Friday and later confirmed by the CDC laboratory testing. Daskalakis said the health department was conducting an investigation monitoring the patient's contacts for exposure. There's your contact tracing. People, and offering testing and antiviral medication as needed. The patient had underlying medical problems. Hurak said she did not address questions about the patient's symptoms or the backyard flock. Oh, I bet. 8 states have reported cases of bird flu in 2024. 61 human cases have been confirmed nationwide. And this is what the CDC has come out with. I'm actually going to share my screen so you can see this. Hold on one moment. Amazing grace, how sweet. There we go. All right. So you see right here, 8 states have reported cases of bird flu in 2024. 61 human cases have been confirmed nationwide. All right. And right here, December 18th, today they are reporting this. Louisiana, Texas, Colorado, Missouri, Michigan, Washington, or actually they're giving out the cases. So 1 case in Louisiana, 1 case in Texas, 1 case in Missouri, 10 cases in Colorado, 2 cases in Michigan, 34 cases in California. All right. 1 case in Oregon, 1 case in, or 11, or 1 case in Oregon, 11 cases in Washington. All right. So there you go. 61 human cases have been confirmed nationwide. And this is about how slow the first one was. It was a slow creep, but it ended up, gaining traction as it took a foothold. You know what I'm saying? And so, I'm going to just kind of jump to the next one here and share it with you. Governor Newsom declares state of emergency in California due to bird flu. There we are. There it is. The declaration follows an outbreak among dairy cows in Southern Californian farms. California Governor Gavin Newsom has declared a state of emergency due to H5N1, more commonly known as avian influenza or bird flu. The emergency follows an outbreak of the virus among dairy cows in Southern California farms. All right, according to the news release of the governor's website. All right, per release of the governor's website. After initially being reported in Texas and Kansas in March, bird flu has been confirmed in cattle across 16 U.S. states, as the Center for Disease Control and Prevention has reported. Now, here's the thing with the bird flu and the avian thing, this is just the mammal stuff that they're reporting. It's in all 50 states. All right. It's in Mexico. It's in Canada, all of that. All right. It says right here, there have been no cases of human transmission of bird flu in California. The release stated with all infections linked to exposure to infected cattle. And I mean, I got some stuff to show you still. All right. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and break back into here. Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm going to show you this because I'm not going to play the full video. It's a little lengthy. Okay, it's a little lengthy, but I want people to remember this. This card. They came out with this card. This is their next stage right there. They did the first one. Hold on right here. All right, this was the first one. This is the next stage. Okay. There's the first one, and then there's the next stage right there, people. Okay. So, all right. Now, I'm going to play this for just as long as you need to see it. All right.
It began in healthy-looking pigs, months, perhaps years ago. A new coronavirus spread silently within herds. Gradually, farmers started getting sick. Infected people got a respiratory illness with symptoms ranging from mild flu-like signs to severe pneumonia. The sickest required intensive care. Many died. Experts agree, unless it is quickly controlled, it could lead to a severe pandemic, an outbreak that circles the globe and affects people everywhere.
The mission of the Pandemic Emergency Board is to provide recommendations to deal with the major global challenges arising in response to an unfolding pandemic.
Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security. Real quick. Hold on 1 second here. Give me a moment here. We're going to tie this in here. Okay. This is what they call Event 201. Hold on 1 moment here. This is going to take me a second because I flipped through all these pages here on this. So this Event 201 comes from, all right, the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security. Wait a second. The Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security did the SPARS pandemic 2025 to 2028. Are you serious? Yeah, definitely serious. All right. So
the board is comprised of highly experienced leaders from business, public health, and civil society.
We could be looking at double the number of cases in 1 week and 16 times as many in a month if we are not able to stop the spread. That would be on the order of 500,000 cases, and it would continue to rise exponentially. In 3 months, we could be approaching 10 million cases.
Notice it was October. All right, let's go back here just a second. October 18th, 2019. Okay, yeah, it's 2019, whatever. get past the year. All right. It's interesting that it's October 18th, and look where we're at after October. Now we're into December, and so these projections are gaining strength. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. They've been planning this stuff out just like this. You know what I mean? You have the SPARS pandemic 2025 to 2028, and then you have Event 201. You know what I'm saying? Right there, Event 201, a global pandemic exercise. So my point is, okay, they've been writing this stuff out from the very beginning. All right, we got the first severe human case in Louisiana, all right, in America, the first one that's the worst one yet. This is it. But there's so many people all over the place, okay, that are sick. All right, they're sick, and there's not a name for it. In fact, there's someone who commented on one of my my Rumble videos. A lady commented over there, and I know we got Dr. K in the house, and just say if you agree with us or not. But this woman was saying that the doctors that at the hospital she took her kids to, when they have this pneumonia, they can't figure out what it is. It acts like it's if a 19 sort of thing, but it's not. All right, it's not. They can't pin it down as to what exactly is, and they're saying they've never seen anything like it. All right, I think we could say there's similarities to what, you know what I mean. There's similarities to what 19. You know what I'm saying? Was okay, and Dr. K says correct in the hospital, so she's saying she agrees that this is correct. This is what's going on in the hospitals. All right, thank you, Dr. K. But I'll tell you, folks. Okay, my point is, all right, that someone else just brought up exactly what I was going to bring up. Was Dr. Peter Hotez. Came out and said that, there's going to be a new pandemic. There's all these different problems, and it's going to smack Trump in the face on January 21st. That's what he said. That's what he said. You know what I mean? So I'll tell you, folks, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. But I want to continue reading this article here. After initially being reported in Texas and Kansas in March, bird flu has been confirmed in cattle across 16 U.S. states, as the Center for Disease Control and Prevention has reported. There have been no cases of human transmission of bird flu in California. They're talking human to human, all right? The release stated, with all infections linked to exposure to infected cattle. There's been over 30 infections, I think 36 people that have gotten sick from cattle in California. All right, this proclamation is a targeted action to ensure government agencies have the resources and flexibility they need to respond quickly to this outbreak. It's already been called an outbreak. It's a health emergency already. There we go. I'll be honest with you. I'm not saying I told you so, because I hate that cliche. I absolutely hate that cliche. Someone like to say, I told you so. I told you. I warned you. But I did. I warned you guys that this was coming about. You know what I mean? I don't know what they're going to take and what they're going to take and what they're going to mix together, or they're going to call it this or they're going to call it that. But I'm telling you, all right, something is coming, folks. Something's coming. And I've been telling you for well over a year. You can go to my Rumble channel, date the videos back. I was telling you about the Jade dream well over a year ago, telling you there's another lockdown that's imminent well over a year ago. You know what I mean? Aditya Sharma. I honestly, I'm not one in setting dates, but I'm looking at things to really amplify all the way up into March. You know what I mean? I think March is that key spot that they want. That's what they're looking for. That's where they locked us down. Last time was in March. It says here, building on California's testing and monitoring system, the largest in the nation, we are committed to further protecting public health, supporting our agriculture industry, and ensuring that Californians have access to accurate, up-to-date information, he continued. While the risk to the public remains low, yeah, that's doing them great, we will continue to take all necessary steps to prevent the spread of this virus. So also on Wednesday, the first case of severe bird flu was confirmed in a human patient in Louisiana, according to the CDC. So the health agency maintains that the current public health risk is low, but said it is watching the situation carefully. Now I'm going to tell you right now, when the government tells you not to worry, that's when you run. I mean, that's in the movie 2012, right? John Cusack is he's sitting there saying, um, you know, anyways. Alex Jones is not the only source of information. I've been talking about this for a long time. All right, and I think it's kind of rude to be like, oh well, Alex Jones this and Alex Jones that. Uh, news source, yeah, sometimes, you know what I mean. But Alex Jones covers everything, so that way when something does happen, he called it right, But I had a dream. All right, and I'll tell you that dream, the Jade dream. So in this dream that I had, this was about the second pandemic lockdown. Okay, I did not see an actual virus. Okay, all right. So let me make that clear before we go over anything. Okay, all right. So here's the thing: I did not see an actual virus, but I was in a suburban neighborhood. I came outside and there was no cars, there was no people outside. It was absolutely a lockdown. All right. And everybody was in their homes or they had fled, to the countryside. I don't know, but there was nobody around. All right. And so anyways, I stepped outside and I'm looking around and I look in the street and there is a giant chunk of jade, which for me, all right, when I had the dream, I felt the Holy Spirit kind of showing me once again, like before, China is kind of the epicenter of all this. And if we go back to that white lung syndrome that China came out with, that was so mysterious. It was like a year or so ago. All right. I think it's very similar what we're seeing this pneumonia take place. That's very similar to that white lung syndrome. When they call it that because when they take the x-rays, the lung is completely white, filled with substance. And if you look at what is going on with the x-rays that are being taken now that people have shared on social media with when they go in and they have this pneumonia, all right, their lungs are completely filled once again, hence white lung syndrome. But they were calling it then, they're calling it something different now. They keep changing names around, just like they changed the name from New World Order to the Great Reset, and they changed the name from the New Deal is what they started with. It was the New Deal, then the New World Order, then the Great Reset. They always change the names to keep you guessing and to keep you not thinking it's not the same thing, right? But it is. It's the same thing. So anyways, Josh, I want to say that the Speedum culture results so bad. All right, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. But so anyways, okay. What was I saying here? Give me a moment. Brain freeze. Oh, I was on to something. I completely forgot. And see, that's what happens when I pay attention to comments when I'm talking. It's almost like, don't look at the comments. Got to keep on track. But yeah, I mean, so I'm just going to start somewhere else. But so, they could call this whatever they want to call it. It's going to be whatever they want it to be. But nonetheless, we've seen these signs before. This is very similar to the first pandemic. You know what I mean? And so, anyways, like I was saying, the X-rays that are coming out, are very similar to what we saw coming out of China, this whole white lung syndrome, okay? And that was from China. And so in my dream, that's where I was going. In my dream, I saw this giant chunk of jade, and I felt the Holy Spirit show me in my dream that like there's something about China involved with this whole second pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So anyways, fast forwarding, there was a second part of that same dream where I was all of a sudden, I went from a suburban neighborhood and I was like transported into a metropolitan area where I saw it looked like chaos had broken out. It was like war had taken place, civil war, revolutionary war. I don't know, but I know that there was a battle that had taken place. The cement buildings were riddled with bullet chips, because a bullet doesn't go through cement, it kind of chips it. There's all these little chips everywhere where, someone looked like they had sprayed a machine gun on the wall. And I saw these it was like there were factories or something like that. The windows were broken out, stuff was burning, it was on fire. I saw smoke, very apocalyptic, okay. And then I saw two military forces. One was made up of sheriff's deputies, uh, you know, uh, state troopers, Cadillac, or uh, city police or whatever. You know what I'm saying? City police. Okay. And anyways, you had that group that was made up of all of those people. It was like the military was non-existent. It was just the law enforcement that was standing up against this. And then you had because it makes me wonder if they're going to be shipped overseas. I wonder, like in my dream, I wonder if that's kind of a thing. All right. Now, anyways, then I saw another force, and this is a force that me and Chris Estep were talking about over on Black Swan Revelations when Chris from Global News Wars was over there visiting, and we were all kind of talking, and they called it the Watchmen Super Bowl. There was like 9 of us that were over there chatting it up, and I was talking about seeing this force in my dream, and Chris said that he saw it in his dreams as well. You know what I mean? And so shout out to Global News Wars. I did notice the other day he shouted out my channel, so I'm going to shout out his channel and thank him for the shout out on his channel. But he actually had stated that he saw this militant force as well. And what we both saw was these guys in black tactical gear. They have the neck gaiters on, covered their neck, covered their face. They had black goggles on, black helmets on, black tactical gear, black flak jackets. You know what I mean? Black clothing, black gloves. Everything was black, solid black. And what I felt in my dream, and I don't usually say this publicly, okay, but what I felt in my dream was that this was people that came into our country illegally that were willing to do what American military personnel were not willing to do, and to enforce certain laws that American citizens weren't willing to enforce on each other. You see what I'm saying? Hence a mandate. A mandate, okay? Just like what they did in New Zealand. They mandated that, like they can come to your house with the cops, they can hold you down, they can put that in you without your consent. Boom, just like that. And that's why I really feel the rapture's right around the corner, all right, is because time must be sped up lest no flesh be saved. What was happening in Noah's day, the demons, the fallen angels were manipulating human genetics to try to weed out that Jesus Christ would ever even come. All right. They wanted to try to destroy the human genome. And this is what they're doing once again. They're trying to destroy the human genome. All right. And that's why I think that there's a mandate coming, and that we have to go home before the mandate, because if we were to take the mandate, there'd be too much change. You see what I'm saying? So anyways, getting off of that subject. Okay. But the fact is that in the dream, I saw one, I think I'm going to say a sheriff's deputy, and then I saw one of these guys in black tactical gear come at each other. There was a tussle and a wrestling match for a quick moment, and then the guy in the black tactical gear got him right there. Boom, hit him with it, what he had in his hand. He was holding it like this in his hand, and he hit him with it. And then the guy stood up, and I'm not trying to scare people or be graphic or anything like that, but the guy, I'm not feeling too well, guys, and boom, fell over unalived. Fell over dead, just like that. Boom, gone. And so that was the end of that dream. And I'm like, man, what is coming? You know what I mean? I think I often hear, as a content creator and talking about these subjects online, I often hear people come out and say, well, we'll never submit again. We'll never submit again. We'll never do what they tell us to do, blah, blah, blah. And what if that's that battle that I saw? What if there is something that takes place? You know what I mean? What if they have to enlist some of portions of the 40 million illegal immigrants that are here in this country? Dude, the 40 million man army. Woo-wee. Is that, I mean, dude, I'm telling you, back in the day, I remember probably in the early 2000s, the 2010s, we were always talking about the blue helmets coming. Talking about the blue helmets coming. They're coming. Everybody, they're coming. You know what I mean? We got to watch out for the blue helmets. You know what I'm saying? But I'll tell you right now, they're already here. UN replacement migration, they are already here. And the majority of them are military-aged men, that are capable of fighting. And I'm telling you, they live a different lifestyle in all those other countries, man. I hope you understand. I hope you understand. And so I'm not saying be scared. I'm not saying be fearful. I'm saying be prepared and be in the spirit and be watching and waiting for Jesus Christ. Be in communion with your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. All right. Be reading the Word of God. Be spending time with Him. Get right with Jesus. It's time to get right now. All right. And it's funny because it's like each and every baby step we take towards this pandemic, they got if they're gonna do it to us in March, December, they got a portion of December, January, February, March. They got a few months to mess around still. They got a few months and they don't need, a million people sick with something to say, oh, we're going to lock down. I mean, that's the thing I think people are looking at, like, oh, we ain't seeing the numbers we need to see before something like this can happen and we can see a lockdown again. They don't need that many. They don't need that many to lock down. They don't need that many at all. We're already starting to reach that capacity. They're already starting to reach that capacity. What are you saying, Bubba News? You could put it in the live chat. But my point is that, if they decide in March, if there's more numbers that begin to come out with this thing, if at some point they decide to declare, well, it is human-to-human transmission, I'm going to be honest with you, I already think it is. That's my opinion. Everybody's sick everywhere. Like, I mean, I'm talking, I know people everywhere that are sick with this stuff. Every state, it don't matter. Every single state, multiple nations. I'm hearing it from the UK. I'm hearing it from Brazil. I'm hearing it from Denmark. I'm hearing it from all over the place, even in Thailand. One of my sources in Thailand, that this stuff, people are getting sick. I mean, I'm sorry, but I know people are like, well, it's just the flu, but I'm telling you, the numbers are spiking. It's more than just that. And I don't know what it has to deal with. I don't know if it's some spray or some technology or some, radiation. I don't know. I can't tell you what it is, but I just know something is happening. And they'll use whatever means necessary to get to their end game. And that's what I've been trying to warn you guys. And everybody kind of attacks me here and they attack me there. And they say, well, you're saying this and I see this. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's about the end game. I'm saying it's about the end game. The means to their end. This is what they're trying to reach. And we can't give any medical advice on this channel, but if you want to give that sort of advice, go over to Rumble and put that in the comment section on this same video over there, or go over to my Twitter X platform and put it in the comment section underneath this video over there. All right, if you have any sort of advice, you know what I'm saying. Global News Wars, he was sharing information with me when they came out with October. They came out with some numbers, and it was skyrocketing numbers, and then they stopped reporting them, and then we haven't even heard the November numbers, and we're already into December. And I'll tell you right now, all right, here's the thing, okay? In the scenario, all right, it's Thanksgiving and Black Friday that really get things spreading around, but it gets really bad right after Christmas and New Year's Eve. So I'm going to say I predicted that we would be at this stage at 7 to 10 days after Thanksgiving. It's only been a little bit longer than that, and here we are. We have California declaring a state of emergency for the bird flu. Okay, you got the most severe case of this bird flu in Louisiana, and they're just talking about the bird flu. They're not even covering the pneumonia, the white lung. They're not even talking about it. Look over here. Look over here. Ooh. Pay attention right here. Pay attention right here. Boo. You see what I'm saying? All right, maybe they are going to have a bird flu pandemic, but there's other things with similar symptoms that are taking place that are exploding globally. And this is the thing, in this pandemic scenario, all right, Thanksgiving and Black Friday really got things kicked off, but it was the Christmas and New Year's Eve stuff that really spread it around, and then they declared a global pandemic after that. And just like that, It's very similar to this Event 201, and I'm going to play the beginning of this once again for people just joining us. And I'll say this, same people, Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security did both of these, SPARS Pandemic and Event 201.
It began in healthy-looking pigs, months, perhaps
Just like healthy-looking cows, right?
years ago. A new coronavirus spread silently within herds. Gradually, farmers started getting sick. Infected people got a respiratory illness with symptoms ranging from mild flu-like signs to severe pneumonia.
Isn't that interesting? It started with the farmers. Look at the guy in Texas. Look at everybody on the farms. Just like in California, 36 people have it that have been messing around on the farms with sick animals, supposedly. All right. And then it started with flu-like symptoms and pneumonia. Just look at where we're at, people. Look at where we're at compared to Event 201. Look at where we're at. I hope people are paying attention.
The sickest required intensive care. Many died. Experts agree unless it is quickly controlled, it could lead to a severe pandemic, an outbreak that circles the globe and affects people everywhere.
So I'm telling you, folks, this is what they have planned. This is what they've been planning. This is what they're doing. This is what they got going on. They'll call it anything they want to call it, but it's about their end game. It's about getting us locked down. And I'll be honest with you, I'm going to say something. It's probably not going to be the popular opinion, but I can't. It's my job as a watchman to point out the obvious. It's very interesting that during the first pandemic, Trump was in place. What a way to really pacify the patriots and pacify the right and pacify the people that have these. What a way. What a way to cause them all to fall in alignment. And I think it's pretty interesting how so easily he got to power. Now, he's not the Antichrist. I think that's hogwash, all right? I already made a whole video about why I think the Antichrist is going to come out of the Syria, Iraq area. It's pretty informational. Go over there and check that out. But what I'm saying is, okay, is I think he's in place to once again to pacify the patriots, pacify the right, pacify the Christians, make them think, oh, no, that he wouldn't do that to us. You know what I mean? What if he is controlled opposition? What if he is? And what if they are planning this event 201? You know what I'm saying? What if they're planning SPARS Pandemic? What if these are two in the same thing and they're coming at us with multiple angles? It very well could be. It very well could be. So, I mean, I'm just on here trying to sound the trumpet on the wall, to sound the alarm. Hey, everybody, heads up. You know what I mean? Heads up. Be careful. Be watchful. Pay attention. I mean, each and every single one of you seeing this video should be immediately aware and asking people around you, have you heard of anybody sick, or, anybody with pneumonia, or anybody with, the 19, any of that stuff? You need to be doing your own research, looking into it, seeing what's going on, paying attention. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, folks, I think this is the time to really be paying attention to what's going on. All right. Hold on 1 second here. I'm looking here. I think that I got a clip to show you what I think that it kind of puts it together best. Comes right out of a movie. Like I said, dude, make sure you're subscribed to my Rumble and or my Twitter X platform. Both of the links, if you go to my main page on my YouTube, okay, there will be my Rumble link, and if you click on that, you click on the several other links that I have. I have my Rumble link, I have my Facebook, my PayPal, and my Twitter X platform. Subscribe to my Rumble and my Twitter X, because there could come a day where this channel is just poof, gone. I was talking to another brother on another channel last night, and he was telling me they just deleted his channel. They didn't even give him a strike, nothing, just poof, gone. That was it. Deleted his channel. He hit too many nerves. And I'm like, I wonder, I wonder what's happening, You know, I've got 2 warnings right now, one for medical disinformation and one for hate speech. You know, and there's nobody I hate, even my enemies. I got like 3 stalkers right now. I've had multiple death threats, right? I got 3 stalkers right now, and I don't even hate them. They just won't leave me alone. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy online. It's a wild, wild west, man. I'm telling you. And I put myself at risk. I put my family at risk to bring you guys this information because I truly, genuinely care. I truly, genuinely care. I love you guys to death, man. And I feel protective over you guys. I don't want nobody taking you guys off guard. And I'm not saying I'm the smartest cat online or anything like that, because I'm not. Honestly, I'm probably ignorant compared to most of them. But, you know, I'll tell you, man, God's doing amazing things in the future of this channel. And so I believe that we're not going anywhere, but just in case, you know what I mean? Be over on Rumble, be over on Twitter X. I'm going to end this live with this video. Watch this. This is predictive programming. They're telling you what they're going to do to you. And just because they're talking about a certain animal in this, don't think it can't mean cows or chickens or birds. You see what I'm saying? All right. Pay attention to this clip I'm about to show you. And I'm going to sign off of here. All right. Don't forget to watch this clip at the end, because I'm telling you, this is some serious predictive programming. I don't know what's going to happen, because everything I showed you today, they really don't like when I'm over the target. I know I'm over the target with this. All right. I'm not saying I'm a know-it-all. I promise I'm not. I'm humbly doing this, but I really care, and I want to warn you of what's to come. May God bless you all. May he keep you in these last days, all right? May he keep you in these last days. Actually, in fact, before I get off of here, I want to read to you Psalms 91. I want to speak this blessing of the word of God over you. This I call the pandemic scripture. I really do. That's what I've come to know it as, the pandemic scripture, because that's what it's about, all right? Psalms 91, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come near you, and it shall not come near thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling, in Jesus' mighty name. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under foot, because he hath set his love upon me. Therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him, and I will be with him in trouble, and I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. May God bless you all. May he keep you. And please don't forget to go out and witness and teach the gospel and spread the good news and change this world in which you live.
If you have fever and cough or sore throat, stay home.
I'd say 95% chance this was manufactured, came out of a laboratory.
The source of the virus was traced back to drug testing done at Genesis Laboratories in San Francisco.
A lab technician, now known as Patient Zero, was accidentally exposed to retrovirus ALZ-113, an Alzheimer's trial drug that was being tested on chimpanzees.
The infected chimps showed signs of erratic and aggressive behavior that led to their escape from the facility.
The now famous incident on the Golden Gate Bridge, a 6-hour standoff with police, ended with the apes disappearing into near woods.
Emergency rooms are being overwhelmed with patients showing signs of what's being dubbed the simian flu.
The CDC is projecting a fatality toll ranging from 5 million to as many as 150 million in the next 6 to 8 months.
Anyone showing signs of a contagious illness will receive special treatment here. the airport's purpose-built quarantine center.
Many of the new arrivals are children who have lost contact with their
The
parents.
mandatory quarantines have sparked civil unrest. Families are being ripped apart.
Containment is not very likely.
Prepare your families, know your evacuation route.
The survival rate is now approximately 1 in 500.
Violence erupted in the city center tonight, the third incident in as many days.
Martial law has been declared in 28 nations, including the U.S. and Canada.
The reactor is overheating. We can't stop a meltdown.
Our generator lost its power.
Know where the government is. Of anything resembling civilian order.
Due to the extremity of the simian flu crisis, all regular government functions have been suspended indefinitely.
Those who aren't killed by the virus will probably die in the fighting. So maybe this is it. This is how it ends. Pretty soon, there won't be anyone left.